Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we have a few things to run over before we get straight into cup fever tomorrow. Celtic of course have the chance to win a treble on Saturday afternoon, adding to the already historic season that we've enjoyed. But today, a few transfer things to go over, and a huge congratulations to a Celtic favourite after proving that he always wins something in his second season. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. We are now less than 500 subs away from making it to 50,000. Let's try and get there as quick as we can. Go down below, hit both of those buttons. It's absolutely free. We have a wee bit to talk about today, but I feel like it's only fair to start with talking about the big man and giving him his congratulations, because he shut a lot of people up. So, Ange Postecoglou, this one's for you. So congratulations to Ange Postecoglou, who last night lifted the Europa League trophy with his Tottenham Hotspur side. They beat Manchester United 1-0 in the Europa League final. Not gonna lie, 90 minutes of my life I'll never get back. Terrible game of football, but all that mattered for most people was that Ange Postecoglou lifted that trophy. Now sadly for me it was bittersweet, because it's no secret that I sway towards Manchester United, but it was lovely to see Ange win, and if anybody could have beat Man United, I'm glad it was him. It's a shame it had to be Tottenham, don't get me wrong, but Big Ange is an absolute hero, and you know, after everything he's been through this year with the media, with his own supporters and everything else, I'm so glad he gets this moment to shut people up and to prove that he is a winner, because we all knew it. We all said it when he went down there. He'd go down and he'd make a difference, that he'd win Tottenham Hotspur a trophy. He'd be the guy to finally do it. But so many people doubted him. So it's nice to see him shut them up, especially that clown Jamie Carragher. So fun fact, Ange Postecoglou now only becomes the second man ever to manage Celtic and lift a European trophy as manager. He joins Jock Stein with that accolade. Nobody else has left Celtic or came to Celtic to win a European trophy of any sort. He now joins that elusive club. And I'm not surprised, because he's a top manager. And I don't know what his future is now going to entail. I don't know if he'll stay with Tottenham, if they'll decide to sack him. What I will say is I've seen the reaction from some Tottenham fans, and I wish that he would give them one of them and walk off with his medal into the sunset. But, you know, it's up to him at the end of the day. It's not exactly easy to come by jobs in this world, so we'll see what happens. But a huge congratulations to him, because the quotes, the videos that we're all seeing, the memories being brought up of his time at Celtic as well, it makes you incredibly happy for the guy. So good on him. Congratulations to him. And who knows, maybe there's more. Maybe there's more to come. So let's talk about Celtic, shall we? We have a couple of transfer stories to go over before we close in on that Scottish Cup final this weekend. One of them slightly more concerning, because it involves a Celtic player who's being looked at by other teams. And that player is none other than Arne Engels. Now, you might have already seen this story. It is a couple of days old. I didn't get the chance to report on it yesterday, but I thought, as always, I would give my opinion on the matter, and I would talk about the chances of it amounting to anything. Yeah, there was an interesting tweet that popped up on social media over the last couple of days in regards to Arne Engels. So credit to everything Celtic, because it was them who spotted it and pointed it out, and without them pointing it out, I think it would have went under the radar. But they did say over there that Celtic's Young Player of the Year, Arne Engels, is subject of interest from Serie A side Atalanta. Reports in Italy claim that the club have already made quote-unquote concrete attempts to take the 21-year-old to Bergamo. Now, I went digging. I found the article on sportitalia.com, which is the link that was referenced. There was an exclusive over there about Atalanta's summer that is coming up and what manager Gasperini is looking for in this summer window. And if you dig deep enough into that, you will see Arne Engels' name. Apparently in midfield, concrete attempts have already been made for Fendrup of Genoa and Arne Engels of Celtic. So they were two of the names dropped, and apparently a midfielder is what they are looking for. Can they back off? This is 2 years in a row. We had to deal with the whole Matt O'Reilly situation last year, which ended up with him leaving to go elsewhere. And now they apparently want Arne Engels. The guy's barely had his feet in the door, man. The article essentially says that Gasperini is accepting of players likely wanting to move on, and in that happening, he will need to make improvements to the team. He will need to bring in replacements. Arne Engels, concrete offers, a weird one. Now, I can't speak to the reliability of sportitalia.com. I don't know how much truth might be in this. I would take everything with a pinch of salt right now, but it doesn't surprise me to hear that there's interest in Arne Engels. I mean, if you put out his stats for the season, he has had a great debut campaign with Celtic, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I know that the jury is still very much out on Arne Engels as to whether or not he's good enough, but I think that so many people forget how young a player he is, how much room for development there's going to be, how good he's been for that age, and just generally how much interest there's going to be in a young player of his calibre. People like to try and turn that back and say that isn't the case because he hasn't been this star-studded signing that we hoped, but I have seen great progression from him. I have really enjoyed watching him, and by God, I don't want him to leave. I don't want him to go anywhere, so it is going to be one to keep an eye out on if there is any truth in the matter. But we know that Atalanta do scout Celtic players. We know that happens. We've seen the Matt O'Reilly situation last year. Will they be looking for the next Matt O'Reilly and Arne Engels? Possibly. So Celtic need to do their best to make sure that they keep a hold of him this season, or this summer I should say. If I was to put my neck on the line, and I don't like taking risks and things that I say when I don't have anything to base it off or any guarantees to work around, I really don't think he'll leave Celtic this summer. I don't think so. I don't think he's been here long enough. I think Celtic would need to have a really enticing offer on the table, which I just don't see at this stage. We paid 11 million for him. I think Celtic would want to at least double their money, and I don't see them doubling their money right now. I just think that he's got to be one that's the teams are going to continue to watch next year before taking that risk on him or taking any gambles. I see him having one more year at Celtic. That's me putting my neck on the line, mostly because I hope that's what happens. Funnily enough, if you go and look up Arne Engels on the CIES Football Observatory, which is a website that is used to value football players from all over the world, they only have one Celtic player in their database. It does happen to be Arne Engels, and they have him in at 21 to 30 million euros. Obviously, that's a big price range to work between. If they were to bring in anywhere close to 30 million euros, they would double their money, but in the lower range of that, 21 million euros, it would only be something like 18 million pounds. I don't think Celtic would sell the player for anything remotely close to that. So yeah, this is only a database tool which is used to roughly estimate the value of players. It's not gospel by any stretch, but it might give you an idea as to where his value stands right now. And I just don't think it's one that Celtic are going to be ready to move on from yet. He is in the early stages of his development. We're going to see a completely different Arne Engels next year. Now, talking about midfielders, we all know that Brendan Rodgers will probably have a central midfielder at the top of his requests in the transfer window this summer, especially if anybody does depart, whether that's Arne Engels, Rio Hatate, whoever it might be. Celtic will need to bring in central midfielders, and one we were linked with about a month ago, Kalidou Sidibe, well, his name has popped up once again because his manager has came out and essentially said, yeah, he probably knows that he wants off this summer. Could it be to Celtic? We still need to wait and see, but we talked about him last month. 6'7", powerhouse of a defensive midfielder. Could he be the type of player that Celtic are looking for? Well, maybe, but he definitely could be leaving. The Daily Record picked up on this interview done in France, of course, currently playing with Guingamp in Ligue 1 France. They went on to say that he enters the final 12 months of his contract, where he's currently valued around £1.7 million, but the manager, Sylvain Rapoli, admits he knows that the midfielder is open to moving elsewhere, especially if the right opportunity arises. So there is a bit of a quotations there that you can go and look at from the manager. He basically says, I'm not fooled. he knows that this could be a possibility. It's the same situation as us as Celtic fans. We know that if somebody comes in for Rio Hatate, he'll probably want to talk to them about advancing his career. This is probably the situation that Sidibe finds himself in as well. It's just the nature of football. So one to certainly look out for. His name was only briefly brought up with the club. I wouldn't say it's exactly concrete, and Celtic are definitely going to go for him. But he is an option so far from what we've heard. And it could be one that Celtic strike for if they know he's open to a move. So yeah, Celtic have the Scottish Cup final on Saturday. We will be here to preview it all tomorrow on the channel with the Celtic the Thunder podcast. And then of course, we'll be here for the match reaction on Saturday, the final game of the season. It's flew by, hasn't it? Let's make it a treble. Until then, please take care of yourself. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video, and let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. Bye. Enjoy. I'll see you next time.